Writing Prompts, WP. Before we go any further, I want to correct a few things. First, not a demon, I'm a god. Second, your ritual didn't summon me, and it certainly doesn't bind me. It got my attention, nothing more. That said, I'm feeling good, and you seem like a nice kid. So, ask your question, or beg your favor. The results of the ritual had gone terribly sideways for Danny. The tentacled entity that showed up had paced up and down the room, in complete disregard for the binding circles he drew in chalk on the ground. As if hearing his thoughts, the creature even scrubbed out a portion of the circle. Whether mocking him or demonstrating its point, Danny wasn't sure. Before we go any further, I want to correct a few things. The eldritch horror in his fancy black robes grabbed a chalk on the dark, polished floor, waggling it at the teen. He then jabbed and made modifications to some arcane symbols on the right wall, which was painted black and had esoteric posters on them. That's not how you draw a demonic ritual circle. The half-moon's orientation is wrong. This spot here calls for an Ouroboros, not an infinity symbol. Next, I didn't summon you here to be lectured on how I got my ritual wrong. Danny scowled, standing up to his full height and puffing himself up, only to jam his hands in his pockets and look down when he realized he didn't even reach the eldritch deity's shoulders in height. Could you start by touching your forehead? Are we playing a game of Simon Says? Danny bit his lip and pinched his features forward. I was testing if you could follow orders from your summoner. Listen here, tentacle demon. Oh, you silly meatbag. Let's clear up your confusion, the abomination chortled. First, I'm not a demon. I'm an eldritch god. I'm not tentacle demon. I am Lord Elvari of Innsmouth. Second, your ritual didn't summon me, and it certainly doesn't bind me. Have I not made my point when I rubbed off a few symbols? It got my attention, nothing more. That said, I'm in a good mood, and you're an interesting mortal. So, ask your question. I was hoping a demon could pull my dad from hell so we could talk. You seem absolutely certain he went to hell. Elvari tented his tentacles, tapping the tips together. Limbo or disappearing into the void are other possible fates. He wasn't a nice person. Always busy doing this and that. Rarely ever back at home. He comes back drunk and yelling and breaking shit, Danny replied, holding back sniffles and tears. Only thing cool he left behind are these notes on summoning demons to obey my commands. Not that it ever seemed to work for him. These notes are legitimate. The octopoid god flipped through the demonic pages. I'd say your father could start by being more interesting and less nasty if he wanted otherworldly attention, like you. I like the gothic aesthetic, the dark walls and floors, the black candles in the room. Mom said it's just a phase. I say it is a great phase to be in, and phases don't have to be fleeting, Elvari declared, waving his limbs about. This octopus lamp needs a little upgrade, however. I'd give it extra eyes. With a flourish, his lamp now had unblinking eyes on the lampshade. You know what? That actually is kinda creepy cool, Danny was impressed. You got other stuff you could show me? Who knew an eldritch god had fashion tips on what eyeliner and black nail polish to buy for a more convincing goth look? Danny now knew. He was sold on the concept of getting one of those breathing flesh carpets, which Elvari assured him wasn't made from humans. Oh, and the bone chandelier. https://www.reddit.com/r/writingprompts/comments/1762 u37/wp_what_makes_you_think_I am_evil_sad/k4kdx0w/ and tables and chairs. No more boring study table from IKEA. Danny knew he wanted one of those tables that looked like a torture rack, all while a faux Iron Maiden stood in the corner of his room. His sister was going to be so spooked, and his friends in awe. Maybe it wasn't such a terrible thing he screwed up the ritual, didn't get to summon and bind a demon to his will. But there still was one more thing, the whole original reason why he tried in the first place. What about my dad? He asked. I wanted to ask him why. Why was he always away and busy or drunk and angry? Let's look at it from another angle, shall we? Elvari splayed out his tentacles and lowered himself until they were face to face, maintaining direct eye contact. What would you do with that info? I never thought of it that way. And that's okay. The entity patted Danny with a tentacle. Hell might not be my domain, but I know a demon or two. Or you could practice while I observe until you could summon one correctly. Why don't you summon one? The young human frowned. Clearly, you know the steps, how the ritual circles are drawn and stuff. Or I could call Demon Lord Buer, https://www.reddit.com/r/writingprompts/comments/1 ASOCBH/WP_a_whoas_mom_was_with_a_cult/KQS2 on my mobile phone. Thanks for reading. If you enjoyed this, click here for more prompt responses and short stories featuring Elvari the Eldritch God. https://www.reddit.com/r/trigonialrights/